Hello, everyone, and a very warm welcome to today's webinar. And so we're very glad to have you all here. So our session is led by someone truly special today. So he's Mr. Amit Malhotra. He's the founder of MSI Architects. And since 2006, Amit sir has been shaping homes across Dubai, Kuwait, and India, and with extensive experience in interior architecture and project management. So the topic for today is the one that every homeowner dreams about. That is, turn your dream spaces into reality on time, on budget, and with zero regrets. With years of expertise and and a passion for bringing vision to life, Amit sir is here to share insights, strategies, and practical tips that will help you build your dream homes. So, without any further delay, let's welcome Mr. Amit to our webinar. And once again, a very warm welcome to our dear audience to this webinar. So, also, we'll be having a Q&A session towards the end of the session. And please try to put your questions and queries on the chat box. And yes, that's it. We can start the session. Thank you. Thank you, audience. Let's start the session.
Thank you, and good evening, and welcome everyone. It's a real pleasure to be here with you all today. And before I begin, I'd like to extend a heartfelt thank you to Kolo for bringing us together on this platform. And it's communities like these that give us the opportunity to learn, share, and grow collectively as professionals. So over the next few minutes, over the next hour and a half, I'll be walking you through our thoughts on design, project management, and what it really takes to achieve something that we typically call as swift execution in construction, be it interiors or be it any large-scale constructions. And I do encourage everyone to please take notes along the way, and because I'll be covering a lot of ground, some points that may resonate with you differently depending on your own experiences. So to keep the flow smooth, we'll hold on to all their questions till the end, and I'll be more than happy to address them once we've gone through the presentation. And once again, thank you for everyone for attending today's session. To begin with, there is how it all started, the story of MSI. So MSI was co-founded by me and co-founded by my partner Saqib. We started in 2006, but we got going in 2007. And it all began from a place of pure passion and deep intrigue around the world of interiors. Initially, it was a self-driven need. I wanted to build my own office and my wife's fashion studio. What started as a personal project for me soon evolved into a full-fledged business partnership. Between 2006 and 2015, we completed numerous successful projects across Kuwait, and then we expanded into Dubai. And our work earned us recognition on the international stage as well. We won 4 prestigious Arabian Properties awards across different categories, which you will see as we go further. By 2018, 2019, we were operating in had a very matured and become we were operating basically in a very saturated market. And as the CEO of my group, it was clear to me that it was time for me to look towards new opportunities, which led me to India and specifically Bangalore. Because having worked very closely with IKEA in the Middle East, I understood that Bangalore was an important hub for them. And that's what intrigued me to come and explore this city. And I realized the massive boom in the residential construction that I saw around me when I was wrecking the city. There was a significant gap, which I found from where I come, and especially in the South market, which was that South Indian builders typically do not offer fit-outs. They leave homeowners with a pressing need for high-quality interiors, unlike the North India. So the interior industry, even more importantly than the market and the demand that I was seeing around, what I realized that the interior industry over here was highly unorganized. Homeowners, a lot of homeowners I spoke to, they were constantly struggling with inconsistent labor quality, delays in and budget escalations. So I saw this pain point firsthand in my conversations with them, and it struck me that this was a problem which I can or I want to solve. So while there were brands like LiveSpace, HomeLane that did attempt to address this need, but their model leaned heavily on standardization and template-driven solutions, which came at a cost of design innovation. So they had become more of manufacturing hubs and less of design studios. So I envisioned this whole thing very differently. And my vision was clear that in the next 3 years, I aspired MSI to be among the top 100 interior firms in the country. And within 5 to 6 years, we counted among the top 20, 30 firms. And to do that, we specialize in premium luxury, ultra luxury residential commercial projects, bringing the kind of systems and processes that allow consistency, autonomy, and excellence. So this all is how an organized interior industry or interior firm typically operates internationally. So though our original business still already runs in Kuwait and Dubai, and with a strong backbone of systems, allowing it to operate with a great degree of autonomy, even though my partner remains actively involved, I aspire to replicate and enhance this model here in India, setting up a good standard in the industry that desperately needs it. Over the past 2 decades, our journey had been defined by one simple belief that good design should not only meet expectations, but also stand the test of time. So we started our story, as I said, in 2006 from Kuwait, and very early on, our work began to get noticed. Some of our first recognitions came through prestigious Arabian Property Awards. We were awarded the Best Office Interior in Kuwait for our work with Bon Voyage. Soon after, we received a recognition for Best Interior Design for Shabistan, which is an Iranian restaurant, and then a award for a highly commended residential property, which we're calling as Hateen Villa because we can't disclose the owner's name. And our association, and these awards definitely make it special for us, and is a way we are judged on a global platform by leading industry experts. That was the uniqueness actually about this award. It gave us a lot of validation on the of our existence in international standards. But our association with multinational corporations like General Electric also bought us a lot of clothes and won us an award for the best office interior. And most recently, our journey extended back home in India, where we've been recognized as at the Architecture and Interior Design Excellence Awards 2025, which was March of this year, as the futuristic and trendsetter interior design and project management firm of the year. So we're proud to say that we've delivered over 1,000 luxury residences and earned 5 international design awards. And but beyond the trophies and certificates, what truly drives us is the trust of our clients and the ability to consistently push the boundaries of design and create spaces which are timeless, meaningful, and inspiring. This recognition, though it meant a lot to us, and because it represents more than just a trophy, it also reflects our philosophy and how we approach every single project. We believe we are good not just because of what we deliver, but because how we deliver, which is the key actually. And we start by first understanding what a project truly means to our client before we do anything else on the project. And that clarity at the very beginning sets the tone for everything that follows. We adapt to the changes, we strategize, customize solutions to fit each unique project rather than forcing a one-size-fit-all approach, And above all, we prioritize what's best for the project and for the stakeholders of that project. In hindsight, empathy, adaptability, and responsibility has helped us earn recognitions of being awarded the Project Management Firm for South India 2025 by the National Architecture of India. And for us, this award isn't the end goal. It's a simple reminder to keep raising the bar project after project. When we talk about scale of our work, it's not just about numbers. It's about diversity of geographies and client needs that need that we have been able to address across. Our journey began in Kuwait. We executed landmark projects that helped establish our reputation. That's the backbone for us. From there, our presence grew into Dubai and later extended to other parts of Gulf as well. Back home in India, our footprint spans across the country, from metros to emerging cities. with projects ranging from premium luxury residences and commercial interiors to large-scale developments also. Each orange dot on this map that you see represents a milestone, a project that we've been able to bring into design, functionality, and innovation all put together. And our work isn't just limited to this region. We also had the opportunity to expertise to United States, proving that our design philosophy resonates globally by working with some NRI clients and giving them design solutions for their development over there. So today, whether it's South India, across the country, or internationally in Middle East and the US, our project reflects one consistent value wherever we work, which is creating designs that are contextual, timeless, and impactful. So far, I would say, and just a few selected projects that we have done here, typically in Bangalore. Just a quick glance of it, where we did 7,800 odd square feet construction cost and construction management and design for Napa Valley Villa in Yalanka. Something we did in Yamlur, 18,000 odd square feet house which was designed and built in 2021 in Bangalore itself. Nambiar Eleganza, I'll show you the videos of this project as we go forward, which was about a 5,350. Again, we did a complete design and build for them. Some commercial projects that we have done here. We've been part of the Daisy Pub. I hope most of you are aware of it. It was a 10,000 square feet pub which we designed, cost and built, and cost and construction and project managed it. Pelican Inn Boutique Hotel, same thing, about 23,000 odd square feet hotel, which was designed and built and managed. Minimum strength at BTM layout, about 5,000 odd square feet for a very young set of entrepreneurs, startup that we did for them. You've seen a part of our the recognition that we've received over the years, and while we feel the awards are important, they're just not an outcome for us. What truly drives those results is something deeper, which is the emotional journey of clients, my clients and your clients. Design is not just about the lines on paper or beautiful materials that we put together. It's mainly actually about how a client feels at every stage of the process. A confused or skeptical client will never fully trust the design, no matter how stunning it looks. But a client who feels heard, who feels respected and guided properly, that client embraces the design, and the project transforms into something which is more meaningful. And this is where a key role is played by the designers and the project managers, and they need to be very considerate about this. It's not just enough to focus only on the technical or creative side. We have to tune into what the client is feeling. We have to address their anxieties, their doubts, their hopes, and because the moment we align with that emotional journey, our design stops being just functional spaces. They become homes, they become stories, and they become legacies for them as well as for us. So in this part from here, in this segment, I'm going to walk you through how we approach this as a firm, which is the emotional journey framework. And it will show that we take our clients from confusion and apprehension to confidence and fulfillment, step by step, and why, if you are a designer, you should be paying attention, not just to the project, but to the person behind it also. So the emotional journey is one of the most powerful journey, because it not just highlights what you do, but also how the client feels throughout the process. And when the clients literally approach us, it's rarely about a building or an interior. It's actually more about their emotions, because it's their dream that they bring on the table for us to shape up. It is their concerns, it is their expectations that they bring on the table for us to shape up in form of designs and in form of execution, and build that home for them, which is their dream, especially for the first home makers. And that's why we don't just design spaces, we design experiences. The framework here maps out the emotional journey our clients go through, from the first conversation to the final handover. We start with discovery by design. Before walking with us, many clients that have come to us visiting prior firms, they have felt unheard, they feel confused, or they even skeptical at times. And they will often say that, no one really gets us. But once we engage, we make them realize that we are listening, we are really listening. And that sense of being understood and respected in the foundation is one of the key factors to build the relationship with the client on a long-term basis. By the end of this stage, the client already feels that, because I am being listened, because I am being understood, they start feeling it more like their home, And then the next stage that comes for us is a vision mapping. Most clients tell us before they have met MSI, they've seen a lot of generic AI renders, Pinterest boards that don't just connect to their story. They look very nice, no doubt, but it doesn't connect to their story, doesn't connect to their lifestyles, doesn't connect to their personalities. But with us, the process that feels uniquely theirs and that get them excited and energized is the process where we properly map their vision, we shape it, and materialize it so that the curiosity and the excitement is built and is something that they feel very positive when they go around this discussion with us. Then we move on to the precision planning, one of the very key aspects. This is where most of the clients initially feel fear, surprises, and hidden costs. So with us, the experience, we try and flip this experience where the clients feel clarity and trust and often tell us that they've thought of everything, and ultimately they walk away saying, this feels to be in control. And that's a very strong statement if coming from a client. In the Artisan execution, we remove the stress of chasing vendors and contractors. Client who once felt exhausted suddenly feel relieved by this. It's so quiet, but things are moving. That is a line that we love to hear from the client, that everything is quiet, but the progress is happening. So by the end, they are amazed that how smooth the project has been, calling it the smoothest project I've ever done. So finally, we also deliver what we call turnkey tranquility. At the start, clients often wonder, will it really feel finished? But during handover, their expression is like, wow, this has been a good experience. And afterwards, what stays with them is a sense of deep satisfaction that the entire journey was worth every penny. So it is not about them feeling the worth of their money by the material that they see in the house, but it's by the journey that they have had in building that house with us. So for us, this framework is not just a framework, it's a core promise. It shows how we don't just change spaces, but transform clients' emotional journey from apprehension to fulfillment. Now, we've just explored a bit about the emotional journey of a client and how they feel before or during and after working with us. And that's important because emotions drive decisions. And we are Indians. We are very, very emotional. But feeling alone isn't enough. To consistently move clients from confusion to clarity, from stress to confidence, we need a structured framework that supports that journey. And that's where our approach comes in. A clear system of what we bring to the table at every stage, ensuring that client's experience isn't left to chance, but designed and delivered with precision. Starting with one of the deep uh, problems that a client or a homeowner feels uh, is everything feels mass produced, even the so-called premium options. They've spent crores in buying the house, yet when they are offered in terms of interiors, often feels like it has come from an assembly line. They see the same finishes, the same layouts, the same fall ceiling being recycled from brochure to brochure. And even brands claiming to be offering premium luxury deliver mass luxury aesthetics, which is either shiny and which is mainly soulless. So the common problem for the client becomes, why does everything feel the same? I didn't buy this house to live like everyone else. The second common problem, no one can balance design vision with execution discipline. Either there are boutique studios which have great design ideas but can't manage timelines or site operations, and they look out for contractors, or they give the job out to the contractors. Or there are turnkey contractors that deliver very fast, but their work lacks inspiration, depth, and artistry. So the clients are forced to choose between design, beauty, and reliability instead of getting both. So the most common problem for them becomes, why can't one firm get both the art and the execution right? Third common problem of a buyer, of a homemaker, is that they are treated like a transaction and not as a patron. Many firms offer preset packages, fast onboarding processes, but zero personalization. Many designers rarely ask about their lifestyle, their preferences, their routines, their emotional goals. And it becomes clear to the client that no one is listening, but everybody is selling. So their common problem here becomes is that I'm spending real money. Why don't they care who I am? The fourth common problem is they are forced to project manage their own homemaking experience. They are constantly chasing site updates, vendor coordinations, and progress reports. And what should be a joyful process becomes time-consuming, anxiety-inducing, and frustrating process for them. Even with the money on the table, clarity and peace of mind feels out of reach. So the common problem here for them becomes, why is this project taking over my life? I already run a business or I do a job, and this shouldn't feel like one. So premium interiors in India often feels superficial for many clients. Many so-called premium designs focus on glossy surfaces, oversized decor, not on space flow, not on lighting philosophies, not on material richnesses or timelessness. And clients crave understated elegance, but often over-designed. What they get in return is over-designed noise. And that's where the client feels that, why can't I find interiors that feels truly redefined and not just expensive? Another common problem, they fear compromising on once in a lifetime investment. We all know that making home is a very big uh, emotional and a deep pocket uh, uh, investment for us. And a home, which is more than a property, it is a legacy for many of us, which we pass on to our generations, kids and grandkids, and so on. So it's a life milestone. But because of delays and misalignments and compromises which keep stacking up, they begin to fear, will I look my home to be ready in the next 6 months, in 8 months, and regret the decision that, why did I let certain aspects slide? And will this truly feel like this, like me, when I'm done with this complete process? So the common problem here for them becomes, I work too hard to feel underwhelmed in my own home. These are some of the common problems, common buyer problems that they have when they come down. Now, when clients come to us, they often have already experienced these frustrations of dealing with other firms. And that's exactly why we try and design the processes a bit differently. We try and remove these pain points and replace them with clarity, confidence, and delight. Let's look at these differences. How do we bring in these differences? First, we go with the discovery. Most firms begin with surface level questions. What sofa do you like? What's your favorite color? These are all generic and often driven by Pinterest boards. But we go deeper with design, discovery by design. We conduct a lifestyle and identity consultation. Instead of asking what you want to buy, we ask, how do you live? And that's what allows us to create a space that reflects who our client is and not just what's trending online. In terms of design, typically Typically, most of the designers show mood boards or AI generated concepts that feel repetitive. With us, we do something called vision mapping. We create a curated design narrative with mood architecture unique to the client. The client tells us after looking at the mood board, yes, this does feel like a home already. We don't believe in copy paste. We don't go with assumptions. We just design that excites and energizes our client. The third aspect for that is, which is very, very critical, is planning. This is where the industry often causes the most stress by giving vague estimates, by shifting timelines constantly, by hidden costs. We cover this by something we call as precision planning. We lock in the BOQs, we lock in the schedules, and transparent budgeting is shared with the client right from the start. They know exactly what's happening, when it will happen, and how much it will cost. No gray zones equals no stress. Coming to the execution bit, in most projects, contractors are loosely managed and the finished quality is unpredictable. We call this chaos. We try and exercise something called artisan execution, where we bring in skilled craftsmen. We manage with something which is almost like military precision. That's why the client says it's quiet, but things are moving. And you don't see the chaos, but you just see some progress, preferably a flawless progress. The next very important aspect is site updates. We know how draining it is to constantly chase for updates, do surprise site visits. That's why we created something called silent site precision, wherein we give the client a dashboard tracking and with curated briefings. The client is always informed through that dashboard. The site is handled and we only need the client to visit if we want them to visit. Otherwise, we don't encourage them to visit. Coming to the handover part, elsewhere or in most firms, handover is just keys and cleaning. But for us, it is something as we consider as turnkey tranquility, where the space is styled very, very detailed and very, very minutely. Like it's scented. It covers some small emotional aspects of each member of the family, where the client walks in and he feels like they've arrived in their house. The atmosphere and the emotion and the completeness, everything is there. And this is done by doing some small things, which we'll cover as we go forward. Post handover, very, very critical. Most firms only come back if there is a problem. If a client calls and tells, oh, you know what, this hinge is not working, that drawer is too hard, that's when most of the firms come back to resolve the problem. With us, post handover presence, it means fine tuning, adjusting, lighting, fixing micro details so that they don't just move into a done home, they move into a home that feels perfect for them. And we do this by giving these personal touches, which is typically the process where typically the process is very formulaic. We add bespoke artisan touches, like we do a legacy book where we'll cover the journey of this homemaking for them, which becomes even their coffee book or a book for conversation. We do these small scent rituals. We'll do these small crafted details that only have a resonation with the client. And these small touches become the wow moments for the client and makes the home truly memorable and even the journey memorable. So, as we know that in most firms, communication is very fragmented. We are chasing different people for design, for sites, progress, for updates. But with us, we do something called private design concierge, wherein we give the client only one point of contact who reflects their decision and makes them feel heard from day one. So in every stage from discovery to handover, post handover, what we bring to the table is not just better designs, but a completely transformed experience by putting this framework, offering this kind of a framework to the client. And this kind of a framework replaces stress with clarity, chaos with calm, and ordinary with extraordinary. At MSI, design is only one part of the promise. The real value we bring is in how we also manage the project, which balances the creativity with cost control, precision, and safety. This slide highlights exactly what we focus on to make every project successful. On the cost and contract management uh, side, we don't just estimate, we build standard BOQs, knowledge-based estimation that are rooted in reality, and which means there is no guesswork, there is no thumb rule, there are no inflated numbers that is being factored in the BOQ. We focus on budget optimization with real value adds, not just cost cutting, so the clients get more impact for every rupee that is being spent. The contracts are watertight, designed to protect both the client and us and the project. And we manage these contracts very carefully, ensuring the right partners are chosen. Now, enforcing these kind of standards, enforcing the cost and, uh, you know, every design literally undergoes a constructability review. So what looks beautiful on the paper is also practical, efficient, and durable on site. We are vigilant about risk management, identifying potential issues early on, and addressing them before they are escalated by the client. We enforce in the cost and contract administration, we kind and ensure a sort of a financial discipline, while communication management keeps all stakeholders aligned and informed. We enforce standard-based quality management so that finishes, material, workmanship meet the set benchmarks. And when challenges arise, we focus on timely escalations and better solutions, keeping the project on track. Finally, and most importantly, never compromise on safety, because no project or project success is worth risking or any accident at sites. So when we say focus on delivery, it's not just about getting the project done. It's about ensuring it's delivered on time, within budget, at the highest quality standard, and in the safest possible way. Now, if we have any homeowners in the room, this is something that I really want you to hear and be mindful about. When you are looking for any interior partner, this is something that you should be focused on. When you're building or renovating a new home, it's easy to get carried away with design ideas. But what really decides whether your project is smooth or stressful comes down to a few critical areas. First, of course, the design story has to resonate, but even more importantly, cost and contracts. As a homeowner, you should always demand clarity. Make sure your BOQs are standard driven and they are realistic. They're not vague ballpark figures. They are detailed and transparent. Check that your budget isn't about just cost cutting, but also about getting true value of money. It's not about being cheap all the time. It's also about getting value, paying a little more, but getting the right value for them. Ensure your contracts are watertight and timelines are locked. This protects you from last minute surprises and endless cost escalations and loss of time, because time is also equals money. If more time gets extended on your project, that equals to maybe more rent you end up paying, or maybe more bank interest that you will end up paying, or in some form of the other, it will definitely has a financial impact. And most importantly, insist on proper closure of your contracts before handover. So you're not stuck with unresolved bills or loose ends or with any loose snags at your site. The second most important thing is the construction and project management. This is a key factor that you should look into your evaluation before you decide on to any design partner. This is where most homeowners feel overwhelmed because so much can go wrong. And what you should really focus on over here is there a holistic plan and a clear supervision? Is there a system, a planning and a supervision system and a process in place by the firm or by the design partner? Has the design been reviewed for constructability? Because design could look beautiful on the paper, but while constructing, it could have a million complications and it could take away the entire aesthetic look and feel. Meaning, is the design actually practical to build and the way it has been drawn? Are risks being managed early, or are problems left to explode as and when they arise? Is the communication being transparent? Do you have one point of contact who keeps you updated, or you're being forwarded to multiple contacts? Design, you speak to the designer for project, update, you speak to our project manager or the site supervisor, and so on. Is the quality being checked against clear standards and not just by some individual who is doing quality checks based on personal taste? And above all, is the safety uncompromised at site? Because no project is worth risking any accident, as we believe. As a firm, we at MSI definitely focus on these points when we manage our projects. So instead of worrying about what could go wrong, the client can enjoy the process of seeing their home taking shape, knowing the designs are handled with discipline and care. Now, before moving to the next segment of today's session, I'd like to take a short pause and real quick share a video of one of the projects that we did on the same principles that we are discussing today. This is a project Namia Eleganza, as I showed you. Please have a quick look at this. This is our work done, complete design and build. So this was a project we did somewhere about last year here in Bangalore, which I have even mentioned in my slides. Of course, there are many more projects under the belt. And I hope that this gave you a little bit sense of how we translate our ideas into tangible, meaningful homes. And now we just move on to the next segment of our session. We've talked about a bit about designs, the importance of aligning it with the client's emotional journey. But a great design, on a paper is only half the story. The real test comes in execution, because that is always the toughest part. And because that's also where most of the projects fall apart. By delays, by miscommunication, by cost escalation. These are some basic or the minimal nightmares that homeowners literally dread. And it's exactly where a designer's vision often gets lost. So we believe that design and execution must move hand in hand. The same thoughtfulness we bring to understanding a client's lifestyle, we bring to planning, supervising, and delivering their project. That means swift execution without chaos. What is swift execution? We will cover that shortly. Every detail in the project should be managed quietly in the background so that the client can experience progress and not problems. So next, I'm going to take you through how we ensure this journey for the client, where a structured approach towards execution that can transform designs into reality or design intent into reality with precision and peace of mind. And let me tell you, project management is not something new. If you will go back to the ancient history of Ramayana, you will notice that Hanumanji, despite being the most powerful person, still he did not do everything by himself. He planned the rescue of Sita to a large extent. Ravan was killed by Lord Ram. Indrajit was killed by Lakshman. And the Ram Setu was built by Neel and Nal. So this tells us that delegating and using resources to their best strength is the most effective way of bringing a project to its completion. And this is something that the ancient history has or mythology has also depicted. Now, we believe there are a lot of challenges when it comes to our interior and interior construction industry. And before I explain how we manage the execution, let's take a step back and understand and look at the bigger picture of these challenges and the construction and the interior industry faces every single day. The first challenge is that lowest bid requirement, which all our clients always have. Their biggest criteria. In most projects, contractors are chosen, designers are chosen based on the cheapest price offer. And then they are pushed to give what a more premium charging designer or a more premium charging contractor uh, promised. But here's the problem. While we get greedy and we end up taking projects and think that we'll work our way around it and we'll find a way to make it profitable, our biggest problem is to make ensure that that project stays profitable. And to do that, sometimes when we don't have the room to increase clients' budget, we end up doing cost cuttings, which often comes at the expense of quality. It comes at the expense of time, and sometimes even both. And this is where project starts going off track. Second biggest industry challenge is delays. Every delay adds up, not just in time, but in cost. Think of it this way, that if manpower has to be retained longer, material prices, transportation prices, repeated transportation prices, overheads will keep piling on. All these increase because of the delay. And what starts as a minor delay quickly snowballs into a major cost escalation, hence reducing our profitability. And finally, the most important factor is the on-time completion. In this industry, profits are not about how much you can save, but about whether you can finish on time. If the project is delivered as planned, profits are protected. If not, the entire financial equation collapses, not just for the contractor, but also for the client who faces ballooning costs and frustrations. These three typical challenges of lowest bid, delays, and on-time completion tied are the reality of construction industry challenges. And unless we have strong project command, these issues can derail even the best designed project, which is why our entire execution philosophy is built on solving exactly these pain points, ensuring that projects are delivered without compromise, without cost shocks, and without endless delays. To do that, there is a framework. And here's the reality across the industry. Most designs firms or build design and build companies follow three steps, which is design, estimate, execute. Execution is often chaotic. Communication is inconsistent. Client must chase for clarity, control, and customization. The label of good work, premium work is given, but not delivered in experience actually. It is typically referred to as material only. Volume-based players bring project management tools and softwares, but the rise in demand leads to poor output for them. So how do the top firms survive? Firms like Rigby, firms like Studio McGee's, how do they survive? They survive and they are able to deliver this by having a layer in emotional design discovery, as I said, high control execution systems, and experiential delivery. Every stage has a psychological purpose, not just a functional task. And they deliver clarity, ease, and delight, and not just interiors overall. So the must-haves that you should have is a personal signature spaces. What it means, every home is designed to reflect the unique identity, taste, and lifestyle of a client. Never repeat, never copy paste. How do you execute? Conduct a lifestyle interview before design begins. Conduct document family routines, family tastes, family values. Every room, try and give a unique design story and not a premium master room template. Second, on the 360 white glove ownership, what it means, you own the entire project journey from concept to aftercare, design, build, finish, vendor, procurement, and client communication. How do you execute that? Keep one lead accountable from start to finish. Handle all procurement and vendor coordination. Use a dashboard and a concierge update to replace site chasing for the client. Time-locked execution. It means timelines are locked, tracked, protected, with milestones guaranteed. How do you execute? Build Gantt project chart project plan. Share milestones calendar with client. Add buffers but never miss visible deadlines. And there are a lot of free to use tools right now. MS Projects, Google Sheets, and these are very powerful tools. And I'll show you a small demo towards the end of how you can actually use these tools to create this kind of a dashboard, this kind of a tracker, and completely document the project planning to project execution, every step of it. And it doesn't need a big infrastructure or a big resources or a lot of manpower. It can be done with as minimal as a team of just 4 or 5 people. Fourth point, clarity ledger, which means transparent budgeting. Account for every rupee with no surprise addition. And how do you do that? Share a live itemized budget tracker. So the client is constantly aware as to how the budget is being spent. And they're also very much aware that you're not overcharging over certain things. Take client written approvals for any changes, any deviations that happen along the course of the project. And show visuals before and after the budget deltas are agreed upon when there is any shift in the scope. The fifth point, build B-scope, or let's put it B-scope build craft, which means your execution standards should be of artisan level. Give crisp finishes, silent joints, use nice standard material. Don't go for substandard materials, because you should also have a minimum benchmark because your name is associated with the design and with the project. And try and give as much as possible invisible detailing. How do you do that? Work regularly with your vendors. Don't keep changing your vendors. Train your vendors in detailed, or contractors in detailed specifications or expectations, so that project on project, they only get refined and better. Define finishing SOPs. Give example, joint tolerances, polish levels, pasting levels. Try and give these proper SOPs, and conduct site level inspections weekly with one of your project leads. If possible, twice in a week. If multiple projects are being handled, then at least once a week. Whether or not you are answerable to the client or not, or whether or not the client is having any concerns or not. Sixth most important point, post-handover presence, which means after the home is delivered, you're still available for tweaks, fine-tuning, and servicing. Schedule a 1 month, post 1 month visit after the client has moved in. Offer a soft landing punch list service, and include a 3-month remote check-in by one of your team members. After 3 months of client move-in, do go and check in if everything is good with them, regardless whether you have got a call for any kind of snag or any kind of repair. This will give you a lot of performance benefits, which means a design mapping method clearly on how your client lives, and not just based on a floor plan or morning routines and habits and values and rituals. It will give you a lot of performance benefits where you know exactly what is happening. You're curating a good palette for your client, where you have run a style audit in your design. You've created proper defined palette boards, material boards, finishes. You've given an open dashboard to your client using tools like MS Projects or Notion or ClickUp. You've given them a client facing view. You're updating them every 3 to 5 days through keynotes or images. You're training at the same time your team, your site leads, your project leads, your design leads on the behavior and etiquette on how to deal with clients, on how to handle project issues. You're standardizing uh, s- uh, your entire processes, and getting rid of the noise policy of having that extra noise that is there that comes along with managing these projects. And one of the main points is that you're always in control. No contractor of yours takes you for a ride. This is some of the performance benefits that you will get by having these must-haves. And the delighters is for the client, which is a feel-good factor, which is a feel happy experience for them. is there is a single person who manages all the client conversations, makes their decision easier with filtered information, and handles the mood management of that client. So assign one concierge per project to a client uh, that can handle the updates, choices, and emotional reassurances can be given to the client by them, that buffer the noise, which is not required to go to the client's ears, shields the chaos, and reflect that client tone for it. Uh, Coming to the next most important part, we've just seen how the construction industry struggles with lowest bids, cost escalations, and delays. The question then is, how do we overcome these challenges and still deliver project on time, within budget, and at a right quality? The answer lies in the framework. The framework is not just about planning on paper, but it's a system that integrates discovery, design, precision planning, artisan execution, and turnkey delivery into one seamless process to eliminate the gaps where most projects lose time and money. And here is how it works. From the very beginning, you align the client's vision with realistic planning, so there's no false promise. Contracts are locked with execution runs like a clockwork. Your construction model ensures clients are updated without having to chase you, while your site is supervised quietly but with a military discipline. And because you built in this quality and the risks checks at every stage, you avoid reworks and delays. And these are the two biggest killers of project timelines. So what is swift execution? Actually, what do we mean by swift execution? When we say swift execution, we don't just speed for the sake of speed. We mean disciplined process that balances time, that balances cost and quality, so that clients get exactly what they were promised without compromise. Swift execution means, first, that projects are completed without delay, deadlines are respected, clients don't have to deal with endless extensions and excuses. Second, it means you achieve every milestone on time, whether it is approvals, whether it is material deliveries, handover stages. Each one is tracked and delivered as scheduled. That keeps the project going forward without bottlenecks. And third, you maintain quality standards throughout, because finishing quickly but cutting corners is not called execution. It's called compromise. Your systems should ensure that the speed and quality, they both go hand in hand. And finally, it means that project is delivered under budget, within the timeline or within the deadline, with no hidden escalations, no creeping costs, no financial stress for the client. When you put all this together, it results into something which is equals to clients who are satisfied. And not just because they got their home on time, but because they experienced the entire journey without chaos, without stress, and with the confidence that everything was managed professionally. That is what swift execution truly means. Now that we have defined what swift execution means, projects without delays, milestones achieved on time, budget controlled, quality maintained, the natural question comes is, how do we actually make that happen? The answer lies in the project management framework. We start right from the planning stage with clear information distribution, so that everyone involved in the project knows exactly what is expected by them and by whom and by when. No miscommunication, no missed details. Then comes project execution, supported by procurement management. Material, manpower, resources, all should be coordinated to arrive when needed, so that there is no loss of time waiting for things to fall in place. Throughout the project, reporting is the backbone. So don't just build constantly measure. You don't just build where we constantly just measure progress or identify issues early and keep the client informed. You build a reporting structure to cover all these aspects for the client. And then these reports feed into the core execution control, which is your scope verification, which is your cost control, quality control, and risk monitoring. Scope and verification will ensure you are always aligned with what was promised. Cost control will keep your budget locked and transparent. Quality control makes sure speed never overcomes at the expense of finishes. And risk monitoring means you identify potential delays or challenges early and solve them before they become roadblocks. You're predicting rain, you cannot do paint, it won't dry, you can't do polish. These things should be predicted a bit earlier, planned a bit earlier. They should not come as a last minute thing and be a reason for delay. So this is these kind of small things is what you should cover in risk monitoring. Your holidays coming in between, your contractors leaving for any kind of breaks in between. All this has to be covered in your risk monitoring process. So you focus on schedule control and team development so that the deadlines are realistic and teams are trained to deliver with precision. You integrate finally, keep after having all these processes looked into, you integrate this with something called as change management, because in our line of business, every project has unexpected changes. But instead of those changes causing chaos, our job is to manage them smoothly so that they don't derail the timeline or the budget. So you should be prepared for change of management. And with all this in place, we move confidently into closing a project and not just handing over the keys, but delivered a finish ready to live space, which is the main engine behind this, something that we call as swift execution. And this is not luck, and swift execution is not about getting lucky with some projects and finishing them in the timeline and getting unlucky and then trying and pushing them harder to meet those timelines or the budget. But swift execution is having this framework where every part of the project is connected, monitored, controlled, and it gives an assurance to the client that they get exactly what was promised on time and stress-free. Now that we've seen the framework as a whole, how every part, I have divided this, it's a long part of about 18 steps, which I have broken down to 6 steps for you to keep this short and have your attention span. So now that we've seen this whole framework as in totality, how every part of the process connects to ensure the swift execution, let's break it down step by step, because execution isn't one big action. Execution is a sequence of well-managed stages. There are 6 stages that form the backbone of the execution model, and it all starts with stage 1, which is planning and scheduling. This stage is the foundation of successful execution. Without the right planning, everything else becomes reactive and chaotic. Here's what you do at this stage. You create work breakdown structure. Basically, you divide the entire project into smaller manageable tasks so nothing slips through the cracks. Then you define timelines and responsibilities for each task so that it's always clear who is doing what and when. You used Gantt charts to visualize these tasks over time, which helps everyone from the design team to the contractor and see how their work fits into this bigger picture of the project. And you use tools like MS Project, Google Sheets. These are free to use tools to track and update progress in real time. By doing this, you set a strong, transparent foundation where clients know exactly how the project will move and teams know exactly what is expected of them. This way, stage 1 is not about just planning. It's about building trust, clarity, and discipline right at the start. I also encourage a lot to use a digital workflow by using very good, powerful tools that we have in today's day and time, which companies like L&T have proven, where they added 22% to their bottom line by just implementing good, powerful project management tools. 22% got added to their bottom line. For a company like L&T, which is a multi-billion-dollar company, it's a huge, huge number. And that has been proven, tested, and it's a case study today in many universities on how a digital workflow can change the entire dynamics of the business. Of course, in our line of business, there is something like CostX. We architects will use Revit. You will use SketchUp or 3ds Max for the 3D models. You will use Excels for BOQ. Some people use CostX. MS Projects for tracker schedule. You can use Naviswork for detection of clashes or spotting conflicts between services and structures and finishes. Cloud management, very affordable and accessible with MS65, wherein everything is on the cloud and every stakeholder has clear access to the latest drawing updates and reports, and it doesn't need to keep being getting exchanged day after day, and but it's just on the cloud and easily accessible by the entire team. All this can result to up to 33% of faster turnaround, and that is an industry average which I'm giving you. It depends on the effectiveness of the implementation. It reduces your or lowers your margin of error because of the digital checks that comes in place. It makes you future ready because future is all about technology. BIM designs being replaced by AI, and so on, and many other tools. And BOQs are more precise, and communication is more transparent, and teams collaborate more seamlessly. So these are some of the digital workflows which I strongly encourage. Now, I will also want to very explicitly say it's not whether it's high-end tool or simple, accessible tool. The outcome, whether it is a free to use tool or it's a expensive tool that you have purchased, the outcome will remain the same. The outcome is to focus on a faster delivered project, a smarter executed project without chaos. And in fact, you will be surprised. We try and manage this similar kind of a workflow with a lean team of just 10 people handling 4 to 5 projects at any given time. And that's a proof that you don't need huge manpower or a lot of money to invest into these kind of tools. You just need the right systems. And you have to derive or you have to design the system that fits best for your business. And if anyone here wants to dive deeper into how we run these systems as MSI, I'd be more than happy to connect separately and share our insights on team management, on workflow management, on these frameworks, and how these practices can be followed by any team, be it big team or be it a small team. Coming to the stage 2, I think we are at 8. I need maybe just about 15 odd minutes. Coming to stage 2, resource management. Once the planning is scheduled and schedule is in place, the next step is to manage your resources. Now, resources in interior construction simply means 3 things: labor, material, equipment. These are the backbone of execution. But if any of them are missing at the right time, project stalls, timelines slip, and costs increase. So whether we do what we do at this stage, we ensure time availability of every resource. That means looking ahead and making sure that the right number of workers, the required material, the necessary equipment are ready when the schedule demands for it. Second, you focus on avoiding delays caused by shortages or multiple logistics issues. For example, even something as small as a tile delivery being late can create a domino effect on flooring, painting, and then subsequently for furniture installation. That's why we procure well in advance. Which brings me to my third point, which is procurement and logistics planning. We don't just order materials. We schedule them to arrive the exact moment they are needed. So storage issues and idle times are minimized. And finally, we build and maintain strong supplier relationship. In interior construction, this is often the hidden advantage. When you have reliable supplier who trusts you, they prioritize your deliveries, they extend flexibilities when needed, they become part of your execution system. So I constantly encourage, try and build a constant, reliable, back-to-back vendor, contractor, supplier base, and do not keep changing them with every project. At my firm, we have found that strong resource management is one of the most underrated but most powerful drivers of swift execution. Because even the best plans are useless if the resources don't show up on time. This stage ensures that our stage 1, which is planning, flows seamlessly into action without disruption. Coming to stage 3, in interior construction, communication can make or break success. You have multiple stakeholders, manager, maybe an engineer if you're doing any HVAC work or any firefighting systems. You have a contractor, suppliers, workers, all working at different levels. And if they're not aligned, the client is left chasing updates. Delayed details slip through the cracks, and mistakes multiply. That's why we put a huge emphasis on maintaining transparency through regular updates. Everyone knows what's happening, when, and why. Client don't have to keep asking. They are always in the loop. We try and also run a daily stand-up meet or a clear reporting. It could be WhatsApp reporting, it could be on-call, joint call, whatever it is. These, but short, focused updates where issues are addressed immediately rather than letting them pile up. And it keeps the entire team on the same page and ensures quick decision making. And we try and plan things one day ahead, one day advance at least. To make this process smooth, you simply use powerful tools like I have mentioned. Depending on the project size, client preferences, you use WhatsApp for instant updates, you use Trello for task management, or ClickUp for integrated reporting, or any other tool, like I said, MS Projects or Google Sheets, whatever suits best to the business. But the idea isn't to complicate the workflow with fancy software. It is to make communication easy, fast, and reliable. This stage eliminates one of the biggest frustrations the client faces, and in turn you face, which is because of fragmented communication. And instead of chasing 5 different people for answers, the client gets one consistent, transparent line of communication. And when communication is clear, even for your contractors, vendors, and suppliers, execution becomes smooth, delays are minimized, and the client feels reassured throughout the process. Coming to stage 4, one of the biggest misconceptions of interior construction is if you want things fast, you have to sacrifice quality. We reject that trade-off completely. For us, quality and speed goes very hand in hand. Because if quality is ignored, rework will happen, and if rework is the biggest cause of delays and cost escalation. So how do you ensure quality stays intact? First, you make quality as a top priority from day one. It's not something you check in the end. It's something you build from the planning stage itself, and then inspect at every stage. Second, when you inspect at every stage, you ensure standards are being met, not personal choice of standards, not somebody's personal preference standards. Industry standards are met. That is your benchmark of quality. Whether it is a structural work, finishing work, or detailing work, your supervisors and project managers should run inspections regularly so mistakes are caught early, not later. And because if they're caught later, they are only going to be expensive to fix. Third, to ensure that these inspections are thorough and regular, maintain checklists and audits. Do not depend on your supervisor's inspection and a checklist he's given. Conduct surprise audits. Standardize these audits across the project so that nothing is left to the memory or to a chance. Every milestone should be checked, and every checklist should have an audit trail. Finally, make it efficient by using mobile apps for quality checks. That allows your team to log, track, and resolve issues in real time, with updates instantly visible to clients and stakeholders. Coming to the 5th stage, which is risk management, a very, very crucial step. The reality is that in interior construction, risks are inevitable. Things will happen that are beyond anyone's control. Bad weather, labor strike, holiday, accident, the labor has fallen sick, so the entire group has decided not to show up for work. Supply shortages, equipment breakdown, all these are inevitable. But the real difference between a project that suffers and a project that stays on track is how well those risks are anticipated and managed. We don't wait for these risks to appear and then act on it. Anticipate them in advance. For example, if we know we are heading into a monsoon season, we plan our schedules that weather delays don't cripple progress. If a supplier has a history of unreliability, we already have a backup of that supplier. So you develop contingency plans. That means for every critical element of the project, there's a plan B ready. If the main supplier fails, we switch to the secondary. If the machine goes down, there's an alternative equipment lined up. The third step is to analyze risk and prepare mitigation strategies. It's not just about risk, knowing risk exists. It's about proactively planning how to reduce their impact. Take a example. Let's say there's a huge disruption in the supply of a particular grade of plywood that you want. So your project may come to an halt. But because we have mapped this possibility by communicating with our regular supplier, we have already secured advanced procurement with them and lined up alternate suppliers in case they fail, or multiple suppliers to meet the quantities. Our project can stay on track while your competitors' project may get stalled because of avoiding this risk management. This stage not reassures your client also that even when the unexpected happens, the project doesn't collapse into chaos. Instead, it moves forward smoothly because the risks have been factored in. So risk management is not just about problem solving, it's problem prevention and what keeps execution swift, controlled, and stress-free for your clients. Coming to the sixth and the last aspect, the last stage of swift execution, delegation and teamwork. No matter how skilled or experienced one person may be, no single individual can handle everything in a construction project. That is exactly the example I gave you of the Ramayana. There are simply too many moving parts: design, procurement, execution, quality, logistics, client communication, new projects, or other ongoing projects. So if everything rests on one pair of shoulders, things will inevitably fall through the cracks. That's why you build your execution around a teamwork. First, you assign responsibilities based on strengths. Every team member has a role that plays to their expertise. The planner focuses on schedules. The site manager focuses on progress. The quality or the supervisor inspects on standards and the workflow. And the client coordinator manages communication. This ensures that no one is stretched too thin and every detail is addressed by the right person. Second, you ensure roles and responsibilities. No work, no responsibilities comes without accountability. Always remember that. So when responsibilities are defined and transparent, tasks get completed faster and there's no duplication of effort or confusion about who's doing what. Accountability will drive speed because when you hold one person accountable for his role, he or she will definitely have that clarity and work with speed and precision. And when all this will come together, the outcome is simple. Team equals success. So for us, swift execution is not about pushing harder or hiring more people. It's about creating a team culture where responsibilities are shared, roles are clear, and everyone is aligned towards one goal: delivering the project on time, within budget, and with quality intact. As we wrap up, let me leave you with three key takeaways. First, swift execution is not about speed alone. It's about finding the right balance between time, quality, and efficiency. If one is compromised, the entire project suffers. But when all three are aligned, project finishes on time, within budget, and to standard everyone is proud of. Second, that every project teaches us something new. No matter how many years of experience we carry, each site, each challenge, each client adds to our learning. And that's how we evolve, refine our systems, and stay ahead. And third, at the heart of everything we've discussed, planning, communication, risk management, lies one truth: strong systems create strong results. Without disciplined planning, transparent communication, and proactive risk management, execution will always feel chaotic. With them, execution becomes smoother and controlled. Now, here's my call to action for everyone in the room today. Keep learning and upscaling. The industry is changing, tools are evolving, and the ones who adapt faster are the ones who will succeed. And always remember, the one who learns is the one who wins. That's the mindset we apply at MSI to manage multiple projects with a lean team and still try and deliver excellence as consistently as possible. So my invitation to you in this: take what we have shared today, adapt it to your own projects, and see how the framework of swift execution can transform your outcomes. And of course, if you'd like to dive deeper into how we manage these systems in practice, I'd be more than happy to connect separately and share through those insights. Because in the end, swift execution is just an process is not just a process, sorry, it's a culture. And we build that culture, success, once you build that culture, success becomes inevitable. In the end, I'll leave you with this light-hearted image. Here you see someone who clearly misunderstood the word executor. Instead of executing responsibilities with clarity, they've come in with an axe and ready for destruction. And isn't that exactly what happens in many of our projects? Execution is often mistaken for just pushing harder, hiring more people, and rushing faster. But that kind of axe approach creates chaos than progress. What we discussed today is true execution is not forceful, it's thoughtful. It's about planning well, managing resources wisely, communicating clearly, ensuring quality, anticipating risks, and most importantly, working as a team. So that the real executor in construction is not the one who swings an axe, it's the one who builds with discipline, clarity, and balance. And if one thing I'd like you to carry from this session, it's this: execution done right doesn't just deliver projects, it delivers confidence, trust, and long term success. So be kind of executors who inspire trust, not fear. The ones who don't just finish projects, but finish them well. In the end, I would close with my sincere thanks to all of you for your time and attention. It's been a privilege to share our journey and a bit about our framework and our insights on how swift execution can transform interior projects. Special thanks to Kolo for creating this platform and the community. It's communities like these actually that allow us to learn from one another. And we strongly believe in MSI that growth doesn't happen in isolation. It happens when we share, exchange, and build together. And we are always open to connecting with our with our peer designers and our junior designers over here to collaborate on exchange ideas, to exchange our learnings from each other's experiences. So keep this flow going, not just as individual firms or professionals, but as a community that can commit to building smarter, faster, and better and together. Thank you so much.
So, sir, it's time for our Q&A session. So if you guys got any questions, you can ask, you can post it on the chat box.
Please do come up if you have any questions or any thoughts, any ideas, anything you want to share, feel free. Please do come up, raise your hands or put it in the chat box. And if everybody seems sorted, then we can end the session here for today.
So if any of you got any questions, please don't hesitate to ask.
Yeah, we've got one question in the chat box. I think, how is the pricing? Is it on per square feet basis? Yeah, I'll take the question.
Yes, sir, you can take the question.
So firstly, Namita, hi, thank you. Thank you for attending. I'm glad if you found this session informative, and I hope it helps in building your journey. Prem has come up with a question: how is the pricing? Is it on per square feet basis? Honestly, Prem, the industry standard. I mean, no matter how It's quoted to the client in the end, but the costing is always done on a square feet basis. Most of the firms follow the standard of quoting on per square feet basis and deriving the cost, but it also depends a lot on uh, the scope of work, the quantum of work, and the elements, because sometimes per square feet based pricing could be deceiving, because sometimes we end up not factoring for, sometimes it's a small unit, but we do not end up factoring for wastages around it. We do not end up factoring, and even the if it is an on-site job, the contractor or the labor sometimes will not work with you on per square feet basis. They will probably work with you on a lump sum basis if the quantum is small. So it's subjected to actually the quantum of work, but the industry norm is to go with per square feet basis. But your costing should always be done on square feet basis, but not necessarily you should quote your client on square feet basis. You could even quote your client based on panels or based on a complete unit cost.
Okay. So is there any questions? If you guys got any questions, you can ask on the chat box. We'll take it from there. Uh, I think we don't have any more questions. So I think we can wind up.
All right. I thank you, everyone, and wish you a pleasant evening. And
Yes, and thank you. That brings to the end of today's session. So before we close, it's just a quick reminder. So if you're planning your home, Kolo Smart Select is here to guide you with expert advice, curated choices, and support at every step. Please visit our website to know more about the program or give us a call on the number provided on the chat box. And a very big thank you to our speaker for sharing such valuable insights, and to all of you for being here and being such a wonderful audience. So we hope you're living with more clarity and confidence for your dream home journey, and wishing you all a pleasant evening. Good night.
good
Good night.
night. Thank you. Bye bye.